Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yes.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah. What? The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Right. Good morning, y'all. It is a Monday fun day. It is July 13th. The year is 2026. It's Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. 6:34 in the morning Central Daylight Time. And apparently they're going to vote on that this week. Whether we keep the time on one zone, which is the current zone, where it gets dark later. So what do you think about that? My phone number to text me is 601-918-8409. Again, 601-918-8409. Sponsored by Cypress Point MS, and that's cypresspointms.com or at Cypress Point MS on Facebook. You can also find it on Instagram, TikTok, and all the other normal social media platforms. We're going to get this thing going. Another crazy weekend of fun. Also another crazy weekend in the world of politics, news, culture in our own state, in other states, in other countries. We're here to talk about it this morning. If you see the feed on Facebook, go ahead and share it to your friends. I would definitely appreciate that. We always do. Always. I'm doing that now myself, actually. So again, you can text me at 601-918-8409. We'll be talking about that this morning. We'll be talking about all kind of other things that are happening in the area and beyond. We talk about everything here, almost. Everything almost. I'll let you figure out the almost part. If you've listened to the show, you probably got that figured out. If you listen to this show, then you probably have it all figured out already as far as that goes. All right. Now that we got that going, Monday, July 13th, my name is Daryl Arnold. Welcome. Good morning. We lost Lindsey Graham over the weekend, senator from South Carolina. Lindsey Graham. All kind of reactions coming in from all over the world, all over the United States, locally, nationally, regionally, and everywhere else. You could not agree with everything that Lindsey Graham pushed or Lindsey Graham represented. Like myself, I did not. However, did not want to see anyone pass away at 71 years old for basically a tear in an artery and heart issues, which caused the massive cardiac arrest. And they were called to his home, could not save him. He was a dear friend of President Trump's and quite a few others on both sides of the party, because his magic was always to get people to agree on both sides That takes a larger than life figure to do. It really does. Whether you like him or do not like him, it does take that type of personality, that type of person to bring forward common ground. Common ground. A lot of people call him a war hawk. The gentleman was in the military his whole life until retiring. He lost his parents in high school, just started college. Then he adopted his own little sister and raised her completely on his own. Never married, never had kids of his own. So, rest in peace, Lindsey Graham. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics and all that smack talk about Lindsey Graham. A, out of respect. B, he did represent the military for many, 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 many years and still, in fact, really, really had a huge love for this country and our military. So we'll just leave that one alone at that. So 6:40 now in the morning. What y'all got to say this morning, what we're going to do this morning, all of that good stuff. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing, God, so much is going on again. Let's just be honest. Let's say it out loud. Is Islamic and Islam people and the Islam religion taking over? Some will tell you that. And I'll tell you this. After many, many hours of research, I think that's on the way, y'all. Texas, of all places. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. But we'll talk about that. We're going to take some questions. We're going to talk about some chats I've gotten over the weekend, some people I've talked to, literally live. I speak with a lot of people, especially over the weekends. There's some rapid fire headlines this morning on this Monday, July 13th, 2026. Congress will return to D.C. Okay. Finally, they will return with spending and budget on the agenda for sure. Midterm campaigns will continue ramping up because the DSA has released their plan, the Democrat Socialists of America. They have reached and put out their plan, y'all. 35 people that have ran and they're not Democrats. They are the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America. They actually don't want Democrats to win at all. Also, one of the major headlines today is immigration and border security still remain quite dominant in the national issues column. Okay. The election integrity crap. We have talked about it till we're blue, purple, green, and every other color in the face about the freaking Save America Act. Now, we do have some updated, I would say news, but you never know through the media. We do have some updated information regarding the Save America Act, but we're still also talking about the immigration and election integrity and the Supreme Court decision that is making waves across this freaking country, as it should. And the economy looks completely different depending on where you live. And sometimes living in a small state, small town, small county, or rural America, you would think that you would be not that stressed. Well, that's not true. It's not true. Just not, unfortunately. But the Trump administration and the entire administration is continuing efforts related to election oversight, including seeking access to voter registration data. That's very important. Voter registration data from states. This will only do one thing, okay, in my opinion. Improve the integrity, while the critics, obviously, will raise hell and raise concerns about legal and federalism concerns. That's what they'll do. Where in the hell nowadays, and I'm serious, where is the proper balance right now in this country between federal oversight and state control of elections? Where? If you got any comments, throw them up in the Facebook chat, 601-918-8409. Text me, whatever. Are Americans right now, it's a serious question, in your life, right now, what are you seeing in your communities? What are you seeing? Let's talk about it. Because the Supreme Court aftershocks right now, rejecting the executive order about birthright citizenship, continues to take over debates as it should. And now, with discussion to turn this over, whether Congress should step in and pursue legislative responses. I believe they should. I do. My opinion, I do believe they should step in. It's about time they step in. And not only just step in, we've got to get people to step up to the plate. We have to. We have to get all these people to grow a pair, step up, and step up for your state and your constituents, which is the United States. I mean, seriously. And the Democrat Socialist of America. I know y'all say this ain't real where I live. This ain't real in Mississippi. This ain't real in the South. BS. It is freaking real. They are freaking serious, and it is taking over fast. And the young people are right there in the middle of it, loving it. Okay? They're even discussing an insurrection against their own country, obviously. It's time to round them up, y'all. It's time to round these people up. For real.
That we hate the Democratic Party.
Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can put forward a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups.
There you go.
City
They don't take orders from the people, the constituents. They are the cuckoo for Cocoa Puff party. And it is the cuckoo analogy. That's the analogy. These are the people, okay? These are the people that are basically taking over now, not later. This is happening now. It really is. The reason this is working is due to the nonstop propaganda for year after year against let's hate Donald Trump. That's one. The George Soros forcing people with money because they're going to do anything for money. I mean, that's what people do. And then, of course, the takeover of the Islamic Revolution, which is definitely happening, y'all. It's not just a shift in the Democrat Party. This is what I mean. I have to say it. I have to say it over and over because I want to make it crystal clear. Too big to rig type mentality is what we have to have on election days and, quite frankly, any election because they love to cuckoo style come in the bird's nest and kick out the small congressional districts first. So this is a hostile takeover. It's a hostile takeover. You know, together these proposals would replace the system of checks and balances our founding fathers created. That is their goal. The platform also calls for amnesty for all, ALL, capital freaking words, all immigrants, unrestricted migration, defunding what it calls the quote, Department of War. The DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, they're not trying to reform the system. Get that through your head. They are not trying to reform the system. The Democrat Socialists of America are trying to replace it. And yes, there is a difference. The mask is off now. The plan to dismantle America is out there. They put it out there. Democrat socialism, for anyone out there listening, Democrat socialism is a fancy name for backdoor communism. I'm going to say that again. Democrat socialism is a fancy name for backdoor communism. It is the way they roll. It is the way they, in fact, roll. You know, a mandatory trip to North Korea would probably change this DSA. Send them over to education work camps in North Korea as a quote DSA and see what happens. Let Kim Jong-un start a work camp for these people. They'll be right back begging for mercy. Overeducated white liberal men and women, primarily women, championing far left politics, racial grievances, narratives, and extremist causes. That's what they do. It's what they do. Look, you're welcome to disagree with me. I get it. Some people are so hung up on, quote, socialism now. You know, they they're taught from an early age to hate anybody that makes money the real way, as in capitalism. Anybody that makes the money the real way. Good morning to Russell. Good morning to Chris Martin. Good morning to Jeff. Good morning to Stephen SRS. Good morning to the folks right here over on YouTube Live at Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Of course, all these podcasts will be loaded after this episode. We're at about 47,000 downloads just this week. Thank you so much. From all kind of states, big shout out to New York being number one this week, New York State. People say, I wonder why you in Mississippi have New York State being your number one downloads for the last week. Well, because they don't get any, they get all propaganda there. People are searching for true information. They really are. They're absolutely searching for it. As you know, this past Friday, after over 300 days, I did do a full episode regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination, regarding the Charlie Kirk preliminary hearing, and allegedly Tyler Robinson guilty. Now you can check that and every other podcast out at iHeartRadio, at Apple Podcast. These are all free, by the way. Spotify, Podbean, Simplecast, Amazon, Pandora, so much more. Actually, wherever you get your podcast, it's Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, and that is Unleashed Media, and that is the and sign. That is the and sign. There is only going to be about 8 or 9, I can't remember, 8 or 9 legislative days left. Starting today, the clock is freaking ticking for the Save America Act to pass for the midterms. Man, this is freaking me out. I have talked about this. 80% of the country, including the Democrats, want this. 8 days in the House, 20 days in the Senate before the next recess. So Mike Lee said this: we have control over how many legislative days we have left. If not, be that short period of time, we can choose to work through the weekends. I doubt they will, though. These people want any vacation day, which is bizarre to me. If you plan on saving this country, you should be working damn like 24 hours a day. Seriously. This affects not only the potential outcome of the elections, but the way in which they're perceived, ladies and gentlemen. When we see something like this and we have a ready, popular, I mean very popular, widely supported solution, we need to re-examine our practices. This is Mike Lee talking about the Congress and Senate. Even our own schedules. You need to look at all that. You need to get this done because this is what the American people want. It's what they've been wanting. And hell, it's what everybody wants. It really is. We'll be right back.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You're not. You're in Pearl, Mississippi. Listening to Power 104.3, The Pirate, where we play almost everything.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local, family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin-Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin-Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
I've got Southern comfort running through my veins.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Top of the hour, 7:01 a.m. That's Central Time. We broadcast live at 104.3 FM, also podcast. We're also on YouTube, Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold live. We're on Facebook live on many different platforms through Restream live now. And of course, you can always watch back later, listen back later, any way you choose to on all of those platforms. Today is Monday, July 13th, and the year is 2026. We're talking about a lot of headlines, and we were talking about the Save America Act. We got like 8 to 9, 10 days to get this done, y'all. You're going to say, are you sweating? Yes, I am. One of the most popular, not the most popular now, but the most popular pieces of legislation ever in the history of this country has been the Save America Act. And we still can't get it passed. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking joking me? That just shows that some people somewhere are being influenced big time. The day-old, week-old, year-old, century-old story. People getting influenced, paid off, paid pockets. I know I was very surprised about Lindsey Graham's passing and that he only had $3 million. That's pretty damn good after being in there 30 years. Okay? It's a lot better than we can say about a lot of other people. You know? Never forget that either. Never forget Doge. Finding out all these years that the CIA was funding and etc. the music business. I've talked about this a bunch, but I'm going to bring it up one more time, okay? Listen closely. How they changed your life, the culture, and everything else. If you were in an 80s band, which I was, you should be pissed, which I still am. 90s, same thing. If you were hip hop in the 90s and 2000s, you should be mad too. Changing the culture without our knowledge. That's what happened, y'all.
Did you know that the CIA funded the rap music explosion? And now that the USAID funds got cut, for the first time in 30 years, not a single rap song has made it to the top 40. Wow, 2 years in a row. Think about that for a second. And I want to take you back to the late 80s and early 90s when rock was everywhere. I think you remember glam rock, arena rock, all the great lyrics, everywhere you looked. Then almost overnight, it was gone, and rap exploded with like MTV Raps and all that, right? And everyone just said, well, you know, I guess that's the culture. That's what people want now. That's the market, that we can make money. But here's what we didn't know back then. The CIA had been in the music business since the Cold War. We know they're in the movie business. It's declassified now, so we can actually look into it. You can look it up. Ben Swan reported on this, and I thought it was fascinating that someone finally picked up on it. So back in the Cold War, the CIA was paying to send Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Dizzy Gillespie all around the world because they needed the world to see America as a tolerant place. Don't get me wrong, those are three of the greatest musicians who ever lived, in my opinion. I mean, their music was real, the talent was real, but the State Department, they were cutting the checks. Crazy. So when Mike Pence, the former State Department official, you probably know him, came out and said USAID was funding rap artists in 14 countries as recently as 2024 and training them how to get young people into the streets, you got to go back and ask yourself, if they're doing this in 24, what exactly were they doing in 1991 when rock fell off the face of the earth and rap exploded for the next 30 years? Because then in 2025, when Doge cuts hit, and for the first time in 30 years, rap disappeared from the top 40. Obvious. 2 years in a row. The Billboard numbers confirm it. You can look it up. So I'm sitting here thinking, what does this actually mean going forward? Because if the funding is gone, the counterfunding is gone too. And now we know that people with no talent, how they got famous. The machine that was deciding who gets pushed and who gets buried just lost its budget. So does that mean a kid with a guitar who actually knows how to play has a real shot now?
Does it? You would hope so. Unfortunately, though, that's probably not true. Probably not true. Now, does our government, being the agencies, especially the CIA, which we're never even told who they are, really, do they do anything good at all with our tax dollars? Think about it. Do they? Not really. Not really. Okay. Hopefully, real music will come back. As I've always been a musician, I will say that, hopefully. Someone said grunge killed rock, by the way. No, because grunge was rock. We're not talking about that. Catch up. Okay? Catch up to the conversation. Don't take pieces of it. It's very interesting, and it's absolutely correct. I've talked about this before numerous times. Just reading some comments. Maybe rock and roll can return, so we will be very happy. I mean, look, rock and roll is never gone. Now, mainstream is a different story, but it's never gone. And that gentleman and myself are not saying that it's gone completely. Billy Corgan has talked about this many times from the Smashing Pumpkins on his podcast, which, by the way, is a great podcast with great guests. That's true. You know, people want to dog on certain genres. Well, 80s rock sucked, getting that message, or rap sucked, or country sucked. You know, if you were in one of those positions and you were in one of those bands or one of those artists, you wouldn't say that about yourself, probably. So grow up. But it is bizarre that the Billboard, the real ratings, literally the only real ones that we have, rather, no rap song in 2 years now, not 1 year, 2 years, has made those charts. So if you tell me that gentleman we just heard from was lying, I don't know. I think I believe him, actually. There's too much evidence there that this has been going on for a very long time, like he said, all the way back, all the way back. And if you think black artists didn't get treated like crap and make no money back in the 60s, come on. They really didn't. They got screwed. They didn't get screwed by the American people. They got screwed by our own government. And they got screwed by the, of course, record labels who are known for screwing people. It's nothing new. That was a very interesting audio sound clip that we listened to. Thought the gentleman did a great job explaining what we've talked about quite a few times on this show, and I've actually been on another show talking about this a couple of times. So anyway, thoughts, comments, text 601-918-8409. The show is unleashed, uninhibited, unapologetic, and we do call it Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. You also heard a spot, speaking of music, about Crossin' Dixon doing the reunion show. They're only doing a few in the state. They did one over this past weekend in Starkville, Mississippi. Great videos I saw from that show. Incredible. These guys haven't played together in years. It's just like riding a bike. So they're playing at Cameron's Garage. Get your tickets now. Save $5 or get a table. Get a VIP table. Still a few of those left. CypressPointMS.com. Click on events. And not just Crossin' Dixon and a reunion, which that in itself is huge, but the Stevens brothers, who are honestly blowing up. Let's just be honest. They are blowing up. If you're not on track, or if you're not keeping up, catch up. These boys are blowing up from Florida to Mississippi to the entire southeast and etc. That all happens August 7th at Cameron's Garage, located at Cypress Point Resort, Brandon, Mississippi. August 7th. Do not miss this show. If you can't figure out what I said or remember, contact me. 601-918-8409 is the text line. 1,000 missiles locked and loaded overnight. It was a tweet or an X from Donald Trump. 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed to the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands of more immediately to follow. Should, quote, the Iranian government act on their threats pronounced in many corners of the globe. Well, in fact, we did send those 1,000 missiles. And they won't stop. Now, right now, Strait of Hormuz is still open. Of course, oil prices went up another 3% today at around $79 to $80 a barrel. And a week ago it was $69. So we've got to get control of this. We have to. Got to. There's also an investigation going on right now because you all know, because it's all we've seen and all we've heard, that the major World Cup has been here in the United States, and it was just in Kansas City. Those people loved Kansas City from all around the world. Middle America, they were loving it. They're not used to having it that easy where they're from. But there is a investigation going on for 8, count them 8, missing children from the World Cup in Kansas City. The World Cup crackdown on human trafficking while arresting 14 suspects, including at least 5 very, very dangerous men from Guatemala and Mexico with serious, of course, really bad criminal records. Dangerous migrants removed from KC. I can't pronounce their names, but you understand what I'm saying. They've been convicted of assault. They've been convicted of drug trafficking, human trafficking. They've been convicted of heinous acts with a minor. So, good. They're busted, and they're going back to their damn country. They're going back. The New York City DSA co-chair, America has a really long history of welcoming working class immigrants. My grandmother and her mother came through Ellis Island. Let's take a listen to the way that the DSA, which is the Democrat Socialist of America, the Democrat Socialists of America, people, we have got to stand up for this country. We've got to. Here's one of the more mild-mannered. We can't play a lot of the DSA people on here because they love to drop the MF and the F every other second. But I believe Griff Jenkins had one of these, quote, DSA representatives, the Democrat Socialists of America, on Fox News today, July 13th, 2026.
Do you really believe in open borders and not having deportations? That's just incredibly contrary to law enforcement and security.
America has a really long history of welcoming working class immigrants. My grandmother and her mother came through Ellis Island and worked from Germany and worked as seamstresses. I mean, we believe that
criminal illegal aliens in the country, don't they need to be removed?
We believe that demilitarizing the border, that violent oppression of working class immigrants who come here, is not something that most Americans want. And I think the backlash to President Trump's policies really show that.
Whatever. The backlash from who? That's the bigger question. Where's the backlash? Well, it's the backlash is the Democrat Socialists of America Party. That is the backlash. You know good and well, I know, whether anyone admits it or not, only the real people will admit it. I've always admitted it. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Badass, but most Americans do not want millions of illegals in our country. That's the truth. And the lady that was just speaking, when she said her grandmother came through Ellis Island, you know what that indicates? That she went through the proper channels and was properly vetted for legal immigration into America. There is a big difference. There's a huge difference. And what a out of reality touch point of view that these people have. It's not, she has no idea what Americans want. She really doesn't. The lunatics are going to destroy this country. In their minds, they're on their way quickly, bigly. They're incapable of assimilating here. Sorry. Not trying to break your heart, hurt your feelings, or have you flag me the middle finger. But it's an embarrassing interview, if you ask me. It's a slap in the face to her own grandmother, by the way. To her own grandmother. Not just the American people. But when she's talking about her grandmother coming over here years and years ago, she did it legally. She did it legally. And legally is not easy, but it's definitely not impossible if you're a good person and you want to come over here. Just the truth. Right? Right. Good morning to Annette. Good morning to Debbie. Good morning to Chris Martin. They rig elections and appoint who they want in the position, which is not voted on technically by the public. That is exactly what the, quote, DSA, Democrat Socialists of America, are doing. That's what they're doing. It's only taken for however many years now for the United Kingdom finally to designate the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Yeah, well, no duh. That's so crazy. Someone said, it's about bloody time. Yeah, it's been bloody time for how many decades? Now, I guess we'll cue the new protesters and posters on the streets for the next lunatic marches that are going to happen. Took them long enough, though. After they continue to destroy their country, obviously, UK, period. Bryant Park. Let's talk about Bryant Park for just a second. New York City photographer took this little quick video and these photos. Bryant Park does not take any public funds. It's privately managed and funded. Now, isn't that capitalism? Or isn't capitalism awesome? Isn't it? All these terrifying, quote, socialist and communism and Dami-isms. Bryant Park in New York City. But it's privately owned, making money. Oh, these people are so double-sided, two-faced hypocrites. And all throughout history, communism, socialists, they're all hypocrites. That's it. They take their Marxism out of books, out of propaganda, and out of the education system. That's where they get it from. That's where they get it from. And we are at 7:23 a.m. Central Time on Monday morning, July 13th, the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. We'll be right back.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Visit msema.org and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
7:25. Monday, July 13th, it is Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic Monday. Unapologetic Monday. We're talking about the Marxist takeover, the Islamic takeover, the DSA, which is the Democrat Socialists of America. They've released and are releasing the rest of it today, but they have released their plan. They don't even like Democrats. So they're using the name Democrat Socialists of America, but the Democrats don't like them. But they have won like 35 elections, or primaries rather, these socialists. That is some very scary information. Very scary. Okay. Nick Shirley continues. Now he's up in New York to find health care clinics, like for one that received $5.5 million from the taxpayers in 2025. They claim to have served 348 people in one day. When him and Dr. Oz went there live to ask about it, they had no answers. They started demanding that he could not film. They wanted his ID. The average doctor can only see about 20 to 30 patients, and that's max. And that's all an ass, by the way. So at 348 patients in one day, really? The clinic would have to have at least 14 to 15 full-time physicians working all freaking day and part of the night. It's just unreal. Just unreal, y'all. Never stops with these people.
Annual checkup. What are the odds that the day Nick Shirley shows up to have an annual checkup? The odds of that happening are very, very slim. So you guys received $5.5 million in 2025. In your peak day, you guys have 341. Yeah, right here. So how come one day you guys had 348 beneficiaries?
No, I didn't answer. Can you give me permit?
We don't need a permit to film. But do you think there is fraud taking place here inside some of these daycares, ma'am?
Can you give me your ID? Everybody, can you give me
Can you give me your ID?
Yes, sir.
Give me your ID.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So give each other your ID. Give her your ID as well.
Give me your ID first.
No.
So I'm not going to give you my ID. My name's Nick Shirley. I have nothing to hide. For you guys' benefit, it would help if you guys could just answer.
I don't want the benefit.
What's necessary?
I don't want the benefit.
$5.5 million.
Yeah. They're saying, give me your ID. Give me your ID. He's like, give me your ID. No, of course not. Of course not. We all know all the scams. I don't know why any of them think they can still get away with it. They're basically trying to break the world record for the most patients pretended, end quote, to see in a day, and forgot the rule that you actually have to treat those people. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seems like, though. I mean, this gets more wild. This gets more incredibly wild. Daily, weekly, and monthly, yearly. These people are the ultimate scammers of the American people. That's just the truth. Just the truth. The real Americans are waking up, though, wide awake. Hello. $348 patients in one day, but nobody can explain how. Not one person. All they can say is, you can't film here. Show me your ID. That's not a clinic, by the way. It's a $5.5 million laundromat. Is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. But good for Nick Shirley to continue to bust these puppies wide open. Let the American people know what's really going on in their states and cities. Let them know. Tremendous reporting from the Free Beacon on this one. Medicare for All candidate Abdul Hesseid, millionaire wife, doesn't accept any insurance at her medical practice. And you already know who's he's going to blame, rather, for this, while lying about it. Abdul El-Salad wants Medicare for all from cradle to grave. His psychiatrist wife does not accept Medicare for any insurance. Unbelievable. Just never stops, y'all. It really doesn't. It does not stop. I don't know. We can rant about this all we want, but if we don't show up to vote, we can't do anything about any of this. Voting is more essential. It is more important than it ever has been. Period. Period. We all know about the rigging. We all know about Elon Musk talked extensively with Joe Rogan about this. I mean, on a few episodes. And other people talk too.
So if you have a bunch of illegal immigrants in your town, your census numbers go up?
Yes.
So
congressional seats.
Right.
So the way it works is the census only counts how many human beings. It doesn't count how many
illegal
It doesn't?
alien. No,
Okay.
it doesn't
Wow.
care. It doesn't
Wow.
matter.
That's
so
what was going
that's
on.
why they were moving people in with buses. That's why they moved all these people to swing states. So you're basically rigging these areas. And then they were trying to offer a pathway to citizenship and allow those people to vote, which
Yeah, see, that's the problem. That is the problem. Period. Got a couple of messages, text messages. Good morning from David Hall. Speaking about something that we were talking about earlier, he was talking about the young woman falling into the category trap of what all communists call useful idiots. You have people that have ideologies that are founded on pure stupidity, but they can't think past their own steps. It's true. They can't look at the past of their own freaking nose. They can't see the forest for the trees. Those are the ones in mass that the communists always have and always will use to inflict damage on society so it can become tired, fatigued, weak, and finally to want to give up. That's the plan. That's what happened in the past. If you do not stay vigilant, that's what happened, or what will, rather, WILL, happen for us. David Hall went on to say on another subject, I'm pretty sure it's been said before, but if you do the math, it's a good chance if we could eliminate all the fraud that's going on, that our tax money would no longer be necessary. That's right. Trump's even said that. The administration's even said that. Because our debt would actually be paid off. Right. It would be. And if it wouldn't be, it would be close. Real close. Really close. So you've been hearing me talk this morning on Monday, July 13th, regarding the Democratic Socialist of America and their plan to unveil the, quote, sweeping new platform that would dramatically reshape the federal government. Well, according to a brand new document obtained by Fox News. Well, I'm going to play that clip for you. And they're going to break it down. It's only going to take a minute of your life.
America plan to roll out their brand new platform next week, and we have the details. Let's put it up on the screen, and your jaw's going to drop at the first one here. So, number one, they want to eliminate the U.S. Senate. So, a whole third branch of government. Let's just get rid of it. That's number one. Number two, let's just replace the president and the Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress. So no more equal branches of government. And then third, amnesty for all immigrants. We saw that one coming. And number four, defunding the Department of War. This is real. I mean, this is coming in a matter of days. And these are the candidates that are winning across America.
Well, absolutely. And just real quick on the vetting aspect. Yeah, Graham Platter, the people who brought him into the race only vetted him in 3 days. Vetting typically takes weeks. So Democrats are going to potentially end up in the same position they were with Graham Platter. But on this, yeah, Aisha, what they were telling us is they want to dismantle the system from within. And you look at countries like Venezuela, where socialism took over. Hugo Chavez was democratically elected. He promised on the same things we're hearing from some of these socialist candidates on the left, to return power to the people, to fight corruption. And then what happens is they get elected and they do the opposite. The power gets consolidated with these bureaucrats, with these politicians, with this new ruling class, and the system gets corrupted. And, so these same people who say that they want to, empower the people, they don't. They just want to empower and enrich themselves. And
That's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, they are planning to release this whole entire platform dramatically and just out front for everyone to read and everyone to see. Okay? They're going to release it. Shows you the true unvarnished stupidity of these Democrats. They want to ruin the country and want a one-party rule. Yeah, thanks for the text, Russ. Of course they do. Of course they do. Once, if they did that, the quote Department of War, who exactly would defend the United States of America if they did that idiotic stuff they're talking about? Can anyone answer that question with common sense? Who? Of course, we're not that dumb. Trump reflects on the deadly failures and the heroic actions surrounding the failed assassination attempt made on him and Butler. But before we get into that, which we're going to touch on that, this morning Trump was on the phone just a few minutes ago issuing a big warning to Iran following a broken military agreement. No matter how you feel about it, it's still happening. Okay?
And most of their equipment is gone. Their anti-aircraft stuff is gone. We hit them very hard last night. Every time they send a drone, we hit them very hard. But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the Strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the Strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the Strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years.
Well, that's the deal. You know, whether you want war or not want war, we all knew these people aren't going to stick to a deal. Have they ever? No. Have they ever stuck to a deal? No, they have not. Have not. But the warning to America from 1984 is in full effect now. Believe it or not. And the Democrat Socialists of America platform is being introduced to the United States. And they're going after Gen Z, of course. It's generational change. And so, in other words, strip the United States of sovereignty, create a, quote, kangaroo court to jail all the non-compliant that are not compliant with the regime of the DSA. And listen, can we stop calling these people socialists? Please. These a-holes are simply communists, and the fact that they won't call themselves that proves it. Jesus. Seriously. The American people will never be, hopefully, rather, so dumb to pass these amendments to the Constitution. You would hope. That's a text message from Eric. You would hope, Eric. I would hope. I've never given up on this country, and I don't plan on giving up on it today. But the high school, college indoctrinated little brats and their crazy suburban social justice warriors, and so many other names I could think of, they're going to get what they deserve, it looks like. The people are either, quote, nuts, demon possessed, or completely just idiots. I think it's a little bit of all of it, maybe. I guess it's a little more of all. So anyway, what the hell's going on in Maine now without Graham Plattner, the crooked, Hitler-loving, treated women horrible, sexual assault grifter that they were going to vote for until all of a sudden, ooh, they did him the same way they did Joe Biden. They just kicked him out, but they don't give anybody a choice who to vote for. They pick it, just like they picked Kamala Harris. Not the American people. Not the American people. Trump did say this morning, 20 minutes ago, that the Strait of Hormuz is open. And they're trying to take it over again. And then Trump said, quote, I'm going to read you a quote, we're taking over the Strait. They have nothing. They had an 11-hour meeting yesterday and everything they agreed to yesterday, and they leave the room. They call back and they say, we had to make a couple of changes. And then Trump said, quote, for 47 years, they've been tapping people alone. This should have been done 47 years ago. Agree. He said it was a done deal, y'all. They broke it. They always break it. We had 10 deals with these people. They always break it. They always break it. Yes, they do, in fact. They do always break the deal. Just what happens. It's just what happens. Check out all these full episodes that I do on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Simplecast, iHeart Radio, Amazon, Pandora, wherever you get your free podcast, because it doesn't cost any money at all. So wherever you get your podcast, check it out. We'll be right back.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin' Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin' Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
I've got Southern comfort running through my veins.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-5 727-597.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
7:49, you guys. Last segment of the show, Monday, July 13th. It is 2026. We've been talking about the Democrat Socialist of America releasing their new platform that really sucks. But we must pay attention. As silly as it sounds, we must pay attention. So anyway, we'll see, okay? We shall see. All I can tell you is we should have always and should still pay attention to everything, but especially now. Now is important. Paying attention also includes talking to people, opening your mouth, speaking with your friends and family, getting people to register to vote. The Muslims have grown extremely bold. They have set up they're the ones to stop at this point, y'all. I mean, they will use the law to subvert the sovereignty of Americans. Islam is an ideology designed to conquer the less educated. They want to take over. I mean, in their opinion, they are taking over. This is in Ohio, inside of a regular store here. Craziness.
To America. Islam's coming to America? Yes, it's coming. Wait, is this going to be one day America will become a Muslim state, a Muslim country. Really? Tell Trump. That's never going to happen. Yes, it will happen. Never going to happen. God is powerful. Never going to happen. God is powerful. Is that what everybody here wants? You want to see that's one thing. Our goal is to make America Islam. Really? Islamic state. Yes. God is powerful. It's never going to happen. You control the heart of Americans. God guide us whom He wills. Over my dead body will this become an Islamic. يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون.
Yeah. Again, these people can't assimilate. That's the problem. It's a real problem. It's not a fake problem. It's not a fake problem. Everybody continued to vote for this in these states. Not necessarily that state, but in New York and etc. They had a choice, y'all. They had a choice. It's crazy, y'all. It is insane, and that's what's happening. It is insane, and that's what's happening. They do not serve the Christian God. Their God is evil, requires evil deeds to be done to serve their, quote, true God. You don't have to agree with me, but I do have the right to free speech just like they do. Okay? We have a hater that just texted in regarding that last exchange that we played on the radio, podcast, and online. She or he did not leave their name. American men are godless and weak. He is right. The spread of Islam is already in major cities in 50 states with 2,700 mosques growing while we burn the churches down. We need men willing to handle the problem like should be handled. We're just not quite there yet. Well, you know what? That's seriously dangerous what you're saying. Seriously dangerous what you're saying. The same person sent me another text saying, we don't need to worry about Islam. We need to worry about Israel. I don't know about that. Okay. I'm not sure I believe you on that one. Sorry. I just don't believe it. Do have a clip, a soundbite of an Islamic young fella who was raised here, but he understands Islam. He doesn't partake in their religion or anything, but he definitely understands it. Okay.
Freedom in the world, land of the free, home of the brave. And you have Muslims that are establishing entire cities.
Yeah.
Just like they've done in Africa, just like they've done across Europe, just like they've done across the Middle East. I mean, you look at so many countries like Iran and Syria. I mean, places that were Christian.
They were Christian.
Land.
Yes. A lot of people don't realize that.
All the churches are burned to the ground.
Yes.
All the Christians have left in mass, all across the Middle East. I mean, Islam has gone and taken over Indonesia. Indonesia before Islam was just like Iran. People dancing in the streets, swimming, having fun, enjoying people and each other. And now to me, it's like almost being enslaved because you don't even have the freedom to think, to believe. If you think and you speak in a way that Muslims perceive is incorrect or they can consider as blasphemy towards their prophet, death.
Right.
Imprisonment.
Yep. Serious business, ladies and gents. Okay. Serious businesses. The path of that and the path of communism. Let's talk about these two paths before we conclude the show. The path of that and the path of communism, which they're covering it up by using the word socialism right now, which is a cover-up word for communism. The path of Islamic takeover and the path of socialist/communist takeover, it's always the same in history. Wake up, America. It's always the same. It cannot coexist here. You cannot assimilate with some of these people. They're not here to try to abide by the U.S. laws. They're not. They want to dominate and conquer. Same thing the communists want to do. The quote, Democrat Socialists of America. There are no, and I want to repeat, zero for both of these subjects, and then we're going to let you go. There are no examples in history, read your history books, of assimilation in other cultures by Islamic. There's none. There's only examples of Islam dominating, conquering other cultures. Okay, let's back it up now. We just said that. You can agree with me or not, but that's just the truth. Read history. Read, people. You don't have to go to Chat GPT to read that, I promise. Also, second subject, same scenario. There are no examples in history of communism assimilating or working in any country. But there are plenty of examples of them trying it, which is the same thing. Conquering and dominating. But it doesn't work. Never has, never will. Thanks to all the sponsors, Cypress Point Resort, Electrical Services and Solutions, Mobility Medical, ladies and gentlemen. Lakeland Drive, mobilitymedicalinc.com. And Mississippi Coding Academies at mscoding.org. It is 104.3 FM. Also, we're on all the social media platforms, and the podcast is on all the podcast platforms. My name is Daryl Arnold. The name of the show is Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. And as always, have a great day. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best, where we party the right way.